Some regiments march to the beat of duty, their every step metronomic in its obedience. Others fight with feral rage, their hearts burning with primal fury. But there are those who dance a different tune, a waltz of fire and steel, where arrogance fuels their blades and victory is their only anthem. This is the tale of the Pyran Dragoons, not your standard Imperial Guard fodder. No, they're something else entirely. Arrogant, ruthless, victors, legends whispered with both awe and disdain, their crimson and gold banners a beacon of triumph and trouble. So buckle up, meatbags. This ain't your grandpappy's guard story. This is the Pyran Dragoons. And by the Emperor, they're coming for you, to help you probably. Or maybe not. The Imperium is a vast tapestry, woven with the threads of 1,000,000 regiments, each a brushstroke, unique in its colors and textures, all contributing to the grand, brutal masterpiece of war. But few threads stand out like the crimson and gold of the Pyran Dragoons. Their story, however, begins not in the fiery crucible of Pyran, but in the icy grip of the Justicar subsector. Born as the Tyler Granadiers, the term Grenadier is something of an honorary title, as most Imperial Guard troops are multi-purpose heavy infantry with long and short-range ability. That said, these men and women were forged in the furnace of the Sinto uprising. Heretics festered like tumors, and the Grenadiers, disciplined and deadly, were the Emperor's surgeon's scalpel. Laser guns barked, blades met in the frozen darkness, and their names were etched in the annals of forgotten victories. But fate, that capricious mistress, had other plans. The war for Armageddon, a cataclysmic conflagration, engulfed the sector. The Grenadiers, caught in the maelstrom, found themselves deposited on the volcanic hellworld of Pyran. This alien crucible transformed them. The Tyler Grenadiers hardened, their discipline morphing into Pyran's savagery. They embraced the world's martial culture, where honor and brutality waltzed hand in hand. They became the Pyran Dragoons, and Pyran, their adopted forge, would temper their blades to a terrifying sharpness. This was no mere evolution, it was a metamorphosis. The Grenadiers shed their old skin, emerging as creatures of fire and steel, their arrogance a plume of smoke from the forge. They were not just soldiers, they were Pyran's champions, and they would carve their legacy across the charred face of Armageddon. The Pyran Dragoons, forged in the fire of the wars for Armageddon, emerged as a spectacle unlike any other in the Imperial Guard. Their crimson and gold uniforms whispered of nobility, their skill with blade and flamer unmatched. They charged fearlessly into the heart of every battle, their arrogance a beacon as bright as their Emperor's sigil. But where some saw heroism, others saw hubris. Their Pyran pride, inherited from their adopted homeworld, often clashed with the regimented order of the Imperial Guard. Dragoon officers, steeped in a culture of aristocratic leadership, scoffed at the commands of lesser regiments, their every action a silent, "Do as I say," meatbags. Commissars, the Emperor's enforcers, had their hands full keeping the Dragoons in line. Their sense of honor, a noble veneer on Pyran savagery, sometimes blurred the lines between duty and recklessness. A Dragoon might sacrifice an entire flank to secure personal glory, his victory a pyre built on the skulls of fallen comrades. Yet, for all their flaws, the Pyran Dragoons remained undeniably effective, their blades carved through enemies like a hot knife through butter, their courage in the face of overwhelming odds bordering on suicidal. They were the Emperor's stormtroopers, the tip of the spear, their victories silencing even the harshest critics. So, the Pyran Dragoons remained a paradox, a riddle wrapped in crimson and gold. They were arrogant, yes, but could anyone deny their effectiveness? They were difficult to handle, but who else would charge headlong into a hive tyrant's maw with a grin and a chainsword? The truth, as always, lay somewhere in the fiery furnace of war. Time marches on, a relentless tide over the battlefields of the 41st millennium. The flames of Armageddon may have dimmed, but the legacy of the Pyran Dragoons burns bright. They have fought on countless worlds, their crimson and gold banners a familiar sight in the grim tapestry of war. They have tasted bitter defeats, their arrogance humbled by the sheer might of enemies beyond imagining. Yet, they have risen again, steel reforged in the fires of adversity. Their Pyran pride, once a source of friction, has become a rallying cry, uniting them against the darkness that threatens to consume the Imperium. The Pyran Dragoons are not saints, but neither are they villains. They are men and women forged in the furnace of war, their souls tempered by both fire and sacrifice. Their arrogance, once a badge of defiance, has evolved into a quiet confidence, a belief in their own skill honed through countless battles. On Pyran, their adopted home, they are heroes. They are the sons and daughters of fire, protectors of their volcanic cradle. They teach their young the art of war, the Pyran way, a blend of honor and ruthlessness that has kept Armageddon at bay for generations. The Pyran Dragoons, an enigma, a contradiction, a living testament to the Emperor's boundless armies. They are fire and steel, arrogance and honor, blades that dance in the grim darkness, carving a path for humanity's survival. And as long as war engulfs the galaxy, their crimson and gold will continue to blaze, a defiant spark against the encroaching night. Love them or hate them, the Pyran Dragoons are an undeniable force in the Imperial Guard. They may march to the beat of their own drum, which can be good or bad depending on the situation, but when the drums of war thunder, they charge into the fray without hesitation. Some say they fight for glory, some for duty, some for Pyran itself. But deep down, every Dragoon knows the truth. They fight for survival, for in the 41st millennium, there is no other choice. Beyond the battlefield, they are more than just soldiers. They are fathers, mothers, sons, daughters. They are the heart and soul of Pyran, their fiery spirit lighting the way in the darkness. So, the next time you hear the whispers of the red and gold devils, remember this: they are the Pyran Dragoons. And whether you stand with them or against them, one thing is certain: they will carve their legend into the annals of war with fire and steel until the very end.